Welcome to Life Today. We will be discussing issues in today's life. I'm your host, Dr. Patricia Harrell Norwood, and it's a pleasure to come into your home, workplace, or wherever you may be. We come to encourage and empower you with the skills and strategy to overcome the issues of today. Welcome to Life Today. I'm your host, Dr. Patricia Harrell Norwood, the Executive Director of Miracle Grace Outreach. And today we have as our guest Bishop
Margaret Cheney, good morning.
and Dr. Sandra Williams.
Good morning.
Ladies, we want to thank you both for being with us today.
Thank you.
We're going to talk a little bit about parenting wisely. Miracle Grace Outreach have been providing Parenting Wisely classes for the past 5 years.
Yes.
We've been going to East Baton Rouge Parish Prison. We go to West Baton Rouge Detention Center. We hold classes at Caballero Human Services on Government Street. And we also hold classes at Miracle Grace Outreach. But as we all know, the pandemic has caused us not to be able to hold these classes like we usually do. So we came up with the idea of the program Today's Life. And in Today's Life, we want to come and empower parents and encourage parents with the skills and strategy to overcome issues of today.
Correct.
Wonderful.
And in this pandemic, we know it's kind of hard on parents, right?
Yes.
They're used to taking them to school, dropping them off at daycare.
That's right.
But now we have to deal with them at home, and that can be a new stress that's put on parents. So we thought it would be a great idea to bring this program to the parents and offer the skills that may help to empower them as they endure this pandemic.
Wonderful.
Okay, so let's just jump right in there. One of the first skills we're going to talk about today is mindfulness. And who knows?
Mindfulness. Well, first off, I'd just like to say that we know that the parents want to be good parents to their children.
Right.
They want to see them do good.
Yes.
So we want to enable them or help them to be the best parents that they can be. And be glad, that they're working with their children and can bring out the positiveness at home and know what they actually are doing. So mindfulness is being involved and focusing on what's going on with your child.
At the moment, because mindfulness is the present. It's not about what they did yesterday, because yesterday's gone, right? And we don't know about tomorrow, but we do know about the situation at hand. And having a state of mind where you are aware of what you are saying and doing right now.
Yes. Definitely having self-control, the same thing we want our children to have. If you're raising your voice, then you can expect them to react.
Mm-hmm.
So you want to keep your voice normal when you're talking to your children. You don't want to come at them when you're upset. If you have to, take yourself a time out, calm down, and then come back to them with a normal tone so that, you won't be out of control and the conversation will not be out of control. It'll be an interactive communication, a positive one instead of a negative one.
And that's what mindfulness is, and we have to remain mindful of the situation. And don't bring up things that happened last week.
Oh, yes.
You did it before, you're going to do it again.
Yes.
So you want to just have those positive thoughts when we're dealing with our children.
And I think also in being mindfulness with your children, with the virus, a young child may not even understand what's going on. What does that mean, the virus?
Right.
What is that?
Mm-hmm.
My friend's mother passed. I don't know how to say to her how I feel, but I know she's feeling sorrowful. I'm talking about the child. So you're trying to relate to the child what
Right.
they're going through, because sometimes it's difficult for adults to deal with death. So naturally it would be difficult for a child.
Right, because all the guidelines have changed for the funerals, the service, you know, are we gonna see them one more time, so that gets to be, stressful.
Yes.
So we have to stay mindful and understand that this is something that we need to take our time and explain so that they can understand.
Right.
So mindful is a skill that you want to share. It's one of the skills that's in the program. Another skill that's in the program is clear expectation. And a lot of times when we are talking to someone or asking the child to do something, we have to make it plain. We have to make it
Yes.
on a level where they can understand it. So if you want them to, I think about that commercial that I see on television where it says, wash the clothes, and the parent wanted them, the parent just assumed if you wash it and dry them, then you're going to take them out and fold them up. And the young man say, well, you didn't put that in the memo. You didn't say fold them, you just said wash and dry them. So, and that's where you want to give the clear expectation of exactly what you want, how you want it done, and what you expect, what time you expect it to be done. Is that right?
Right,
Yes.
right.
Definitely need to give a time frame, because they'll say, well, you didn't say when you want it done. Well, then you have created unnecessary stress. If you give clear instructions, simple instructions, and timely instructions, then they're able to complete those tasks and be more successful. And then it'll be a positive interaction for them doing their chores rather than a negative one. And it'll reduce the arguments that could occur. And also, the tasks that you want done, they'll be done properly and as you expect.
And it's kind of preparing them for the future.
Oh, that's good.
Like going on a job or whatever, you have to follow instructions. Sort the clothes out first. I know as a child we used to throw them all together.
Yes.
We didn't sort out white and colored clothes. We just threw them in there. But we were
That's
taught
good.
that you had to sort your clothes.
Exactly. And that's clear expectation, because you come home, you got purple, green, orange, and you're wondering what happened. Well, you didn't tell me. So you have to give instructions, clear expectation, and don't assume anything. Right? So we don't want to assume they know, or they've been watching you do it all the time, that they should know how to do it. But we want to give clear expectation.
And one other thing I want to say about that, just because you've given the instructions before, it does not mean that you don't need to give them again. If they ask you, maybe they got confused, maybe they forgot. Just be kind enough to repeat it again for them. Give them an opportunity to be successful. So be patient with them. If they're still not sure, please repeat it one more time. What will it hurt? They have everything to gain by getting it right. So repeat it one more time for them.
All right, sounds good. So, clear expectation. The next skill we're going to talk about this morning is supervision and monitoring. And why is it important to supervise and monitor your children? Why is that?
I think one thing with the supervision with your child is you're observing them, that they're following the proper instructions and paying attention to what you're telling them. It's like if you're on a job, you have a supervisor. They usually train you first, but they don't just throw you out there to do it.
Right, and then they monitor to see how it's working out for you. So it's simply paying attention to what your children are doing, and that's so important. And prior to this pandemic, a lot of children were basically raising themselves, I think. Because the parents were at work, or they're at school, they come home, they make their own lunch. But now during this pandemic, the parents are there all day. The children are there all day. We want to supervise them.
Yes. Yeah. Like Cassandra was saying, latchkey children.
Yes.
We don't want too many latchkey children today. We have them, but we want to be there
With them.
shattering them and knowing what they're doing.
And knowing what they're doing.
This is something that I read, and it was that the children that are found to be getting into the most trouble was because of a lack of supervision and parental involvement.
Mm-hmm.
So those children that are finding themselves in detention centers and things like that, they're saying that there was not enough parental involvement in their life. We don't know what the activities they're involved in. We're not spending time with them doing things and monitoring what they are doing. So if we spend more time doing that, then we're able to decrease some of the problems and trouble that they get into. And the more trouble they get into, that means the more involvement that we need to take time and invest in.
It's like parents should know what your children are doing.
Yeah.
Parents, do you know where your children are? You know, and who they're with?
Yes.
Yes. They may be on the computer, but you need to know what programs they are watching. You need to set some perimeters there by going on there and putting parental controls so that you can control what they watch. You know, I have grandchildren, and so my daughter has it set up that she'll get a thing on her phone to let her know what the children are watching. And then some things are blocked. She would have to okay for them to watch it. So all of these things is monitoring your child. All of these things is parental involvement. You're showing them that, hey, you're important to me. Parental guidance and involvement lets a child know that, hey, I'm interested in what you're doing. You are important to me, and what you do does matter.
And know who your child's role model is.
Oh my. That's a good one.
Yeah,
Come on,
it is.
talk about it.
Well, you know, we know that the different stars and basketball players and, you know, unique people, it's going to naturally get the child's attention because it gets your attention.
Mhm.
But, you know who your child is looking up to. Are they looking
Should it be mom and dad?
Yeah, yes, I would hope so.
Well, that's one of the skills as well with the Parenting Wisely program is role modeling. And we're going to talk more about that on another show, role modeling, because
Yes.
children tend to imitate their parents. You know what I'm saying? If you scream and holler, they will too.
Yes.
So that's another skill that we will talk about. Okay, so another part of supervision and monitoring is drugs in the home.
Yes.
You want to be mindful these days of your medication. Be it that the children are home more or at home.
Yes.
Is it that more? Yeah, they're here all the time. So now that the
We just
children
love you.
it is at home. Okay, great. So we're talking about supervision and monitoring and the importance of supervision. Children need to know that the parents are paying close attention to their activities and their schoolwork, because now with the pandemic going on, parents have to be the teacher. You know, they're doing homeschooling. And that reminds me as well also of daily routine. We have to have a daily routine.
That's awesome.
The kids get up in the morning, they eat breakfast, they get started, and you got to have some fun time set aside for them, because they're going through a lot.
Yes.
And that reminds me as well as the feelings that they have as far as being mindful of how they're feeling, because it's breaking up their schedule and what they're used to doing. So we want to keep them in a routine, supervising them up, you know, making sure they're taking out time to do schoolwork.
Yes.
Don't just let them just run wild, all day, all day long. Have a daily routine for them. You know what I'm saying? Does that make sense?
That's a good idea. Start a new norm for them, a new routine at home.
Or keeping them as close as the routine as they are used to on a daily basis going to school, you know.
Yeah, that's
Try to keep things as much as familiar,
yes.
not necessarily normal, but it's familiar to them. You know, getting up in the morning, eating breakfast, and then they have some playtime and they have school time. So we want to make sure that they're having some school activities going
The
on.
structure.
Structure.
That's
Have the
great.
structure there.
Structure.
Yeah.
And a part of supervision is having structure, having boundaries,
Yes,
having limits.
that's true.
Those children need that.
Yeah.
They need that.
You bring some great points to the table. Another thing they need to look at is making sure that they are getting those packets out that they sent home for those children.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
also have online activities, and some of that needs to be done each day, just as if they were going to school.
Right.
Keep their grade level up, you know, keep their skills sharp. Let
And the
them
only way
listen.
they're gonna do that if the parents get involved and supervise them. Get involved.
That's awesome.
Get involved with what they're doing. A lot of times, and that's so different for parents when they really may have not.
It's taking that word they're doing their lesson.
Yeah.
The door is closed and they're on the computer.
Right. So now, if you're at home and you have that time, that will encourage the child. That it'll motivate them. And when we're trying to find ways that's going to keep them motivated, keep them excited, even though it's a stressful time right now.
And it should excite the parent to know what their children is really involved in. Not just the teacher doing it. You know what your child is involved in. You know what your child need improvement in.
Yes.
You know, we know that the teacher will say, well, they seem like they're a little lacking this. But if you're hand-on with that child, you know what
That's
that
right.
child, which is good.
Mhm.
Exactly. So that's a part. And another issue that we're going to talk about as well is drugs.
Yes.
That's an issue that we want to bring on the forefront, and Dr. Williams maybe can give us some insight on that as being a nurse, because when we talk about narcotics, we also talking about high blood pressure medicine,
Regular medicine.
just
Yeah.
regular medicine, your diabetic medicine. Those are things that normally we may sit around, but we want to be mindful and think about, maybe I need to put it away.
Right.
That's really good. Definitely, I'm going to speak to you about that. Being a nurse, I have seen a lot of things and experienced a lot of things. And one of the things we never want to see is a child that is overdosed or die from medication, ingesting something that's not safe for them. Depending on their age is the way that you would store medication. It doesn't matter if it's your blood pressure medicine. If your child is normally at school or at daycare when you're at work, and now they're at home by themselves, they may be old enough to be at home by themselves, medications do not need to be left at home with them. It would be better for you to take those, put them in a bag, and bring them to work with you. Children do this. They'll imitate what you do. So if you take it, they think it's all right for them to take it. Even Tylenol. Just take Tylenol.
That's something that we have to be mindful of in the household as well.
Over-the-counter medication.
Yes.
Over-the-counter medication.
Yes.
Because like you say, the kids have a headache and it hasn't stopped, and they take it again because they're not aware of, you take 2 every 6 hours,
Yes.
or, whatever the instructions are. So,
Or they're taking an adult dose, and this is not meant for children. It's meant for an adult.
Yes.
So it's still too much for them and can cause harm and damage to their body. So if you're going to keep medications in the home, we do suggest that you lock the medications up. If it's a small amount of medicine, you can get a regular little lock box. Walmart and different places carry the little metal lock boxes with the key, and put the key up. Keep the key with you. File cabinet works very well. If you have a cabinet in the house that even for alcohol, and some people may have one of those type of wine cabinets that locks. And any place that you can put it and lock it and keep the key would be great.
Because you never know whether when your child is being influenced or will be influenced by someone else, they can share what's in the house. And you just have to be aware of it.
One thing we do suggest also is that you keep a medical box. Make you a little emergency box to keep in your home with certain items. One of the things that I want to tell you, if your child does ingest something that they shouldn't have medication-wise, there are products out there that you can buy and keep at home, like Narcan. Just a simple spray that you can spray up their nose. But in the event you believe that they have ingested too much of something, dial 911 immediately and then use your Narcan. You always activate EMS immediately so that they can be en route while you talk to them, and they will give you instructions on how to manage that child during that time. Are we talking about finding drugs as well today? If you find drugs that the children have?
Right.
Okay. So one of the things is if your child is found to have some type of drugs, whether they're pills, whether it is marijuana or some type of thing that you smoke, or alcohol, if you find it, what will you do?
Oh, you must ask, why is it here? It belongs to me.
Why are you taking it?
Yes.
And that's in the video that we're going to watch, a small video on finding drugs, is a video that we show while teaching. In the parenting program, we have group discussions, we have different role play scenario, and we also have videos. So at this time, we're going to watch the video, and it will demonstrate how a parent react or should react, positive and negative ways to find out more about if your child is taking drugs and where they're getting it from and what you should do as a parent. So let us watch at this time.
It really scares me that you're using drugs. I want you to be honest with me about what these pills are.
I told you they're for my headaches. I haven't even taken any yet.
I feel confused now. You just told me that they're the only thing that works, so obviously you've taken some. I need you to start being honest with me, and this isn't a good start. You know, I was tempted to forbid you from seeing him, but I don't really think that's fair to you. So, I just want to get to know him better since you're spending so much time with him, and I know that your father would like to know more about him too. But I don't want you seeing Eric alone. You have to see him here at the house where I can get a better sense of who he is.
That isn't right. He'll be way uptight.
I'm not that bad, and I won't embarrass you. I need to know that you're safe and that you're not starting up some dangerous drug habit or going out with a drug dealer.
Eric is not a drug dealer.
Then you have nothing to worry about by seeing him here where I can get to know him. Now I need to call your dad and bring him up to date about what's been going on and what we've talked about and decided on.
If we have looked at their finding, the drugs, and we are investigating on why these drugs are in your possession, we have to look at a positive way of doing it. We have to go in and gather information to first find out what has transpired. Sometimes children are easily influenced and they may have taken someone else's possessions and put them away to hide them for them, but they're the ones caught with it, which is still not the best decision to make.
And that's the question most parents ask. Where do we go from here? What do we do? And there's many alternatives. I would say contact Capillary Human Services. There's a lot of different programs available to assist
Yeah. One of the things that they said was you can even bring them to your doctor to have them checked for drugs to make sure they have not ingested anything. Maybe they were holding drugs, but maybe they didn't actually take them. But if they know
there's
that
a lot of
there's
home remedy
accountability.
tests too that you can buy over the counter as well, that you can test your child to see if there's drugs in their system. That's an option as well. But a good thing, like I say, is to have a relationship with your child. And that's what this program is all about more so, is building a relationship. This is a communication program, Parenting Wisely. It's about communication. It's about interacting. It's about respect for one another. And you have to show respect to receive respect. And like I say, when your child knows that you're paying attention, that you see what they're doing, that you're getting involved in their life, that has a lot for their behavior. And monitoring. I always say, even when school was going on, parents should go more to the school and be involved. Sometimes we get so caught up in daily life, doing this and doing that. You know, makes me think also, this pandemic, the virus that's going on, you're staying at home more, you're watching, because life was so busy before. It was real busy before. And now we have an opportunity to watch and see and get involved. 16 different skills in this program, and each week we're going to bring a new skill. Today we talked about mindfulness, clear expectation, and supervision and monitoring, and the importance of those skills. And next week we'll bring in some new ones. So,
you know, nowadays everybody's microwavable with the children, but when you actually, this is giving the parent a time to be able to teach them simple recipe skills. If you read the recipe, it teaches you how to read. It is not everything on the computer fast, that you have to know how to do the measuring cupping. It's actually hand-on.
exactly. And it's a process, and let's enjoy the process of building that interaction and relationship with our children.
Yeah, getting out, walking, riding the bike with them, playing with them, where we've been so busy we don't have time. But now we have time to do that. So this is a time to really strengthen relationship and bring family closer together.
And I think parents will get to know their children better.
Yes.
You know, some of you say, my child won't do this, my child won't do that. And then all of a sudden you're spending time with your child, and you see your child do that. You know, and that does happen. That is how it works. So we want to thank you so much for tuning in today. We'll be here again next Friday. We look forward to seeing you and having you on the show. And thank you so much, Dr. Sandra, for your input.
Thank you for having me.